So, good afternoon, champions. So, I hope that you are still having a great week. This being a Wednesday, I would like to officially welcome you to our today's analysis. So, today I'll be analyzing just one index and also one pair. So, today I'll be analyzing US 30 and we're also going to look at NAS 100 to see what is happening between the NAS 100 and the US 30. And then I'm going to look at one pair, and that is GBP card, and hopefully things are going to turn up in the right way. So let us just jump straight into the charts. So this is US 30. So I'll just start from uh, the hourly time frame. That is the 4 hourly time frame. I'll just begin from the 4 hourly time frame because the other time frame I've got no pattern, to be precise. So looking at US 30, we have been settling in with some pullbacks to the downside. You can see that from the daily time frame, you can see that this is an upward trend. So this is an upward trend. We have been having several touches. So you can see our first touch at that point had our second touch. Then we had this touch, then the other touch before coming to our current touch that is here. We are currently at this position. So we have got also this level that the markets are respecting. So moving into the 1 hour time frame. Now from the 1 hour time frame, you can clearly see that we are still having an upward trend. That is the move to the upside. And you can see that we have got this region that is a very strong point of resistance. So this is a very strong point of resistance. Remember, we had this touch, I think, several weeks ago, when we had this touch to this particular trend line that is here. So the market have been moving toward the downside. So we had a downward movement to this point where the market tapped this point before moving into the upside. And after the market moved to the upside, we have been settling at this period here, this point of resistance that is here. Now moving into the 1 hour time frame, because there's something that I'd like you to see. So we had a breakout today. This you can see here that we had a breakout out of this trend line that is at this particular point here. So this trend line was you can see that the market were respecting this trend line that is here. So the market were respecting this particular trend line. You can see that at this position, when it came to this point of support, the market moved to the upside. Then we had this other touch that is here. The market moved to the upside again. But this time around, when we had a touch upon this trend line that is here, we had a clear breakout to the downside that is. And I had already made, I had placed in a stop, that is a sell stop, and actually the market moved according to how I predicted them. So moving into the 1 hour time frame, you can clearly see that this is the breakout that took place here. Uh, at the beginning, I felt that it was not the right time to get into the market, owing at this particular point here. You can see that we had two green candlestick. I was waiting for the closure of this candlestick to see if it was still a sell. But then when I saw this red candlestick, you can see at this point I got into the market and clearly went down. So we had a total reward of 375 pips. Currently, I'm expecting that the markets are going to move into, so you can see that this is a very strong point. This is a very strong point of support. So currently, I'm expecting that the markets are going to move from this current market position, that is these areas. They are going to move to these areas. So, and then we are going to see more new patterns being created by US 30. Remember, US 30, it is usually a good index when it comes to majorly most of the time buying it. Yeah, it is a very good pair when it comes to buying it. So let us move on to I mean the NAS 100. So the NAS 100, as you can see, from the 4 hour time frame, it is an upward trend still. So you can see that usually this is a general upward trend. As you can see, this is a general upward trend. But then US 30 has got this tendency of making some downward trend, and then automatically after some time they just create a breakout to the upside. So you can clearly see that here we had a sort of a downward trend, and then let me just so you can see that this is a clear downward trend. So we had a downward trend at that point. can do that. So at this point, you can see that this was a clear downward trend. But then when the markets were at this point, I know sometimes the NAS 100 usually can get you out of the market. So you can see that at this point you had attached to this trend line that is here before market started moving to the downside. This was a false confirmation here, and you can see that this false confirmation that was here. You can see that when it came to this point of support, the market decided to create a breakout to the upside, and it started moving toward the upside. So you can see they were creating new highs. And then when we came to this point, you can see that we had another. When it comes to any kind of resistance, you can see this is a very strong point of resistance that is here. This is also a strong point of resistance that is also at this point. And you can see that when the markets were clearly creating a pattern of moving toward the downside, the market just created a breakout at this point after touching the trend line that is at this point. You can see that this is a clear breakout, and it usually happens when the week is coming to an end. New highs start being created. Now, currently, we are still this time round. It is not a downward trend, but rather an upward trend, which brings a little bit of some speculations of whether the markets, because we have been experiencing downward trend then a breakout to the upside, but then this time round we have for this week we have been experiencing a lot of upward trend still. So this brings about having some small reasoning whether the markets are preparing themselves to create this time round, creating a breakout to the downside. That's why you can see that below here I've got this long position, I mean short position that is below here, and you can see that this is I've had this also short position that is at this point. This trade I got out of this trade at this point of support, because I felt that the market will respect this trend line that is below here. So I was expecting that the markets will move from because I got this into this trade after having a confirmation of the markets not rejecting to the upside, that is, but the market decided to move to the downside. So I got into this trade in the morning. So I got into this trade in the morning, and the market started moving toward the downside to this point. Then we had this particular trend line that is here. So the market started moving toward the upside. So I'm still looking for opportunities to see if the markets are preparing themselves to create a breakout that is to the downside, because clearly if you can see it, this is a downward trend, and in this downward trend you can see that it is also a very good pattern that is being created at this point. So looking into this, you can see that the market at this point they may also come back. So the markets, so I can place in just a short position at that point. So I'm looking forward for maybe this time round the markets may create a breakout to the downside, moving into this level. So the markets may come to this position that is here, then they move towards the downside, create a breakout this time round out of this point of support and move to these new levels. And then they may also break this point of support and move further to the downside to create lower lows and then start moving towards the upside, because in NAS 100 we have just been experiencing a lot of buys and a lot of new highs being created. So that is what I can see when it comes to the NAS 100. So I'd like us to finish off with the GBP card. Now, for the case of GBP card, we have been experiencing a lot of upward trends. So let me start from the daily time frame. Now, from the daily time frame, you can see that this is a downward trend, but then we have been having several touches. You can see we have been having several touches here. So this is a touch that we had. Then after this touch, we had a move to the downside. This is also a touch that we have here. And this time round, I'm expecting that they are going to create a breakout to the upside, that is, but I'm not so sure about it. I'm still looking at the markets, because if you are able to see that you have got this pattern also when it comes to the weekly, I mean this daily time frame. So we can see that we have been having several touches at this point here. So I don't know what may happen. I'm still waiting. But moving into the hourly time frame. So for the case of the hourly time frame, I'm expecting that we are going to have a move toward the downside. Previously, we have had a touch at this point here. So you can see that in these levels here, we had a touch at this point. So if I may zoom out so that you can have a clear view of why I'm saying that. So you can have that this is an upward trend. So we can clearly see that this is an upward trend. If I may do this, so clearly this is an upward trend. As you can see, this is an upward trend. So we have had a touch at this point, a move to the downside, a touch at this point. So clearly the markets are preparing themselves to move toward the upside. That's why you can see that I've got this long position that is at this point. So last time we saw that the market touched this point here and the market moved toward the downside, made a touch that point. The market have been moving respecting this particular point of support that is here. But then when it came to these levels here, after touching this trend line that is here, the market started moving toward the upside that is, and they created a breakout. To this position that is currently is. So previously, when markets created a breakout, you can see that this is a breakout that has been created. The market usually move toward the upside to touch the trend line that is above. So that is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting that the markets are going to, because they have already created a breakout, the markets, I'm expecting them to move toward the upside. So moving into the 1 hour time frame so that you can have a clear view. So I'm already on this trade. You can see I'm up to 100 pips. So this is 113 pips. I'm just risking a total of 150 pips. So I'm expecting that the markets are going to rise high above. The markets have initially they were at this point and they moved to the upside to these levels here, came to this point of support here, created a breakout. So and then they moved below, created a touched this point of support. Now I'm expecting that they will just go straight to take profit. And that is it that I had for you guys for today. Hopefully, the analysis was educative, and I hope that through this analysis, you'll be able to make your own plans for the remaining part of the week. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like, share this content with your friends, families, any person that is interested in trading in the forex industry. Please do share, do share, do share, and continue supporting this channel. And my prayer is that may the peeps always be with you. Thank you.